Keeping venomous reptiles is an unforgiving hobby, requiring proper training and lots of experience. One simple mistake can be the difference between life and death. Remember, the most venomous snake in the world is the one that just bit you. There are no venomous snakes with training wheels. Just because you see viperkeeper handle snakes a certain way does not mean you should try it too.
Well, my blue Insularis sort of got a, sort of went off feed and have been really sort of throat puffing a lot. So we're going to give him a little bit of antibiotic. Hey, I want you to look this way, and of course...
Again, he doesn't want to cooperate.
And I don't want to get bit. You know, it's not, why bother use the nebulizer if you can't get them sort of huffing and puffing and not moving about and breathing heavily. Now I'll reload this for the next one.
Yeah, he is not a happy camper.
No. You know, all of a sudden he went off feed. He was in with the female down below who also, and all of a sudden he started throat puffing and not feeding. She's not feeding because I think she's gravid, because the rocket gave birth. I didn't, Rocket didn't get a male put in with her. So the rocket didn't get a male put in with her, but the blue one below certainly did, and thus got some antibiotic to see if that helps clear up the throat puffing. He's eaten periodically, but not a whole lot. This girl throat puffs quite a lot. Hello. Yes, I am visiting with you. And I'm not going to use the same hook because we don't try to spread disease back and forth with her, because she has a very long reach. I am going to hold the nebulizer part with a pair of tongs and stick it in her face, rather than maybe that's what I should have done with the other guy. Problem is with the nebulizer, it really sort of needs to stay vertical and to work best. And we need to sort of irritate her a little bit. Yeah, I know. This is a wild-caught female. I mean, she's got a bump back there, which may be some parasites which are causing the problem. So we're going to have to do a fecal. I just noticed those. So we may have to pull her out and restrain her and do a fecal. Because if it's parasites that I see her with giving her this issue, well then that would explain a lot. Now these guys don't really take too well to giving them drugs to kill parasites. Matter of fact, I've had several friends treat them for parasites and end up with a dead snake shortly thereafter. So we learned this back with the wet tar island pit vipers, Trimessurus insularis, same genus and species. It's just a yellow phase that's indigenous to wet tar island in Indonesia. We ended up killing a whole lot of them when they came in because we found they had parasites, and we treated them for them and killed the parasites and the snakes. So as a rule, when they come in, unless they're ill or showing signs of illness, I won't treat them. This is the mother to some of the captive-born animals that I have here, so she's been around for quite some time, 2016. So we'll see what that does, but now that I've seen little lumps on her back, we might do some investigation into what kind of parasites she actually has in her feces. Alright, this is the male that was in with another female, and he came back and he has just not been interested in eating and has been sort of throat puffing, and we're gonna nebulize. Come on. Now watch him. He will come after you. Yeah, he doesn't joke around. When he gets in that sort of position, he will lay one on your finger or hand or anything he can possibly reach. There, how's that for your tongue? So we'll give them a few of these treatments this week, which will be all sorts of extra fun. You know, Lori and I had the discussion on whether to take them out and put them in a box with a nebulizer directing the spray into the box. And, you know, my opinion is that this is stressful enough because if you stress them too much, their immune system gets depressed and antibiotic just can't overcome whatever the issue is. Now, I load a much higher dose of antibiotic. I don't like giving antibiotic internally unless it's really necessary. because I've done that in the past under veterinary care, and I won the battle. I killed off the infection, but a few months later the snake died of liver and kidney failure because the antibiotic adversely affected their internal organs, most notably the kidneys, which, you know, is absolutely necessary, as well as liver. So they went into failure and died anyway. So okay, so that's it for now. We'll go clean everything up. We'll just leave the nebulizer system here. I'll clean up, I'll destroy the syringe. This one I'll keep because it's just got distilled water in it that I use for diluting the medication, so I have a larger volume of stuff to nebulize.
We'll leave you alone now.
Mr. Insularis has not been feeding on a regular basis. He also has a little patch of shedding left on the middle of his back that's not worth bothering, but last weekend I put a mouse in his cage, and as you know, I don't do live feeding, but the mouse is quite smart. It took the food that we left in the cage and took it into the little hut and barricaded himself in the hut and built this wall to prevent any intruders from visiting him during the night. You know, it's got to be pretty stressful for the mouse. It will come out and drink some water and take some food in, but it's getting to the point where the mouse is getting quite large, and I don't like leaving mice in with snakes too long, although he doesn't seem to have any interest in Mr. Insularis up there. But unfortunately, because I'm not sure why Mr. Insularis is not eating, I cannot take this mouse and put him in another cage. So eventually I think Mr. Mouse will have to be terminated, which is quite sad because I hate wasting mice and having to euthanize an animal for a no good reason other than I can't afford to put it in another cage and perhaps transmit some disease that I'm unaware of. So in this cage we have a male Insularis, and he's been a very reluctant feeder recently. He requires some poking and prodding to get him to strike, and then some additional effort to get him to strike and hold. If you just back up a second, he is not going to cooperate in the back there, so we have to bring him forward and really irritate him. There you go. Come on up there. That's right. No, don't. Yeah.
He's locked onto the hook.
Come on. Come on, I want you to eat. This guy has been off feed for a while, and now I got him feeding, so I am going to gently try to get him to release the hook without me disturbing him enough to drop the mouse. So we're just gonna back off and let him go ahead and eat, because he hasn't eaten in quite some time. And you know, he was eating live food for a while, but you know, we put some live mice in there as a fuzzy, and by the time we took the mouse out, it would be a young adult mouse. He was eating live mice and decided that he wanted some company and kept them around without killing them. And of course, we are very careful when we have live animals in with the snake, live food actually, especially mice, and we don't feed live rats here ever. But you know, mice can get hungry and chew on your snake. So we have a bag of actual mouse food that we got from, you know, our supplier, and so we throw some mice kibble in there so the mice have something that they are familiar with eating. We make sure that there's water, and it's even funny sometimes the mice know that there's a bad hombre out there in the cage, so they will actually push substrate and block the entrance to the hut, preventing the snake from sneaking in on them. Not that I think that the snake wanted to eat them, because we had to take so many out of the cage that were alive, more than he actually you know, ate. It was really sort of funny. It just was quite unusual. So let's back off, let's leave him do his thing, because we've got another bush viper to feed. So this is a female blue Insularis, and you can see her backside has quite a bit of a scale spread, and she's sort of lumpy, so I think she's incubating some embryos in there. She's been off feed. I did breed her, but this was in January before COVID hit. You can almost always find her up here basking under the light, which is another sign that she's, you know, trying to get these babies all grown up to come out. So we're hopeful that we get some live babies, because if you remember, the Green Rocket a few months ago threw a bunch of stillborns and slugs and stuff, which was very disheartening.